So, welcome to a new episode of Paul Takes Photos. I'm Paul, I take photos, and on this channel I basically review most of the gear that I use and also some of the photography adventures that I do. If you're interested in more of my photography, don't go to Instagram but to my website www.paultakesphotos.com. You can also find me on Vero and on Instagram under the same handles. Anyways, the reason why you're all tuning in is very simple. I did sell my Fuji X100V, and in this video I'm going to tell you some of the reasons why I sold them. But first, before we go here, the Fuji X100V, if you see in two previous episodes here, one where I review the pros and cons and the other ones basically how I could afford that camera by selling off many camera systems I didn't use at the time anymore. So that's a bit of the background. If you want to see more, check it out there. But first things first, the Fuji X100V is not a bad camera at all. It's actually a very good camera. It's a compact range finder. It's got a fixed lens on it, 35, the equivalent of 35 millimeters with the 23 millimeters f1 point. The f2.0. 1 point would be great, right? The latest Fujifilm simulations, and also the same sensor and auto tracking and autofocus as on the Fujifilm XT2. So it's the latest of the latest. The image quality out of it is excellent. It really is. It's excellent quality of image, color science, focus, all that kind of stuff. And the best part is it fits into your pocket. Now you're thinking, aren't you? So why did you sell it? That doesn't make any sense. You're way too positive about it. Well, there were a few things I didn't like about it. First of all, the fixed lens itself. I found out that fixed lenses are, they're great and they aren't. And for me, the more I went out to do photography, the more I grabbed my other Fuji camera. I'll reveal later on in this episode. So I don't know about you. Are you a fixed lens person or interchangeable? Let me know in the comments below. And I started using this camera. Yes, as you can see, it's the Fuji XT2. Say what? Yeah, that's an old camera, people. I know, it's an old camera. And you're probably thinking, what do you want with a camera from 2016 or 14 or 15, ancient in gear land? Yeah, that might be true, but you know, cameras are not mobile phones. So yeah, so the first thing, as I told you now, one of the first reasons is that the fixed lens doesn't work for me. And yes, many of you will state, but it's great for your photography as a skill. I do agree, but unfortunately, if I'm standing on a river, I can't just jump into the river to get that perfect frame. That would be cool, but unfortunately, doesn't make any sense. You've got the ISO button, shutter button, and the aperture ring on your lens, and that really for me makes Fuji such a great way of photography. It's a great photography experience, and I really missed that on the X100V. I couldn't just continuously changing ISO and shutter and then man, it's annoying, you have to put up. No, not for me. Then there's the ergonomics. Now the Fuji XT2, it's a bulkier camera than the X100V. It weighs a little less, but still it doesn't have any kind of thing you could even remotely call a grip. So you always need some kind of cage. In this case you need it as well, but it's the overall grip combined with the three key parts of photography: ISO, aperture and shutter speed, which really, you know, for me that's the experience itself, really works. X100V is an expensive camera, but it's not fully weather sealed. You have to buy an additional accessory. Fuji doesn't provide it once you buy it. And to me, that's just like, what the hell? Say what? No, the XT2, I bought this one used for a couple of $100. Weather sealed, great design. So you can take it out on a nice drizzly day, and you don't really have to worry that your camera is going to be FUCK'd. Yeah, and then there's one thing which is highly subjective, and leave your notes, especially when you own XT1 series and XT2 series, so it's also the XT20s and 10s and the XE1s and 2s. I find the image quality coming out of those cameras approaches far more film photography than the XT3 and XT4 and X100V do, because those pictures are really sharp. In general, they're really up to date with a modern day way of photography, but I love the way the pictures and the sharpness and the natural grain on the sensors in the XT1 and XT2 kind of render. It really brings it closer to film photography, and of course we all want sharp pictures, but in the old days on film, not every great picture which is world famous is sharp and in focus, whether that's deliberate or not. But I really think that the XT2 renders a less digitally or I8 enhanced image, and I think that's the biggest difference for me. It's the combo of the lens, the interchangeable lens, the 3 aperture dials, and then the end result picture, which is closer to film, raw photography than with the latest models of the Fujifilm XT. You can really see Fujifilm has gone also more gravitating towards video, and with that it also enhances the actual sharpness and the more, let's say, electronic feel of photos. Let me know what you think. Hope you found this useful. See you next time.